Hey, what's up? PizzaLovingNerd here. My investment in Extra PC didn't pay off. In fact, I lost a lot of money. So I'm going to be making a new investment. The idea of the Extra PC investment was that I'd get a bigger return since no one else is investing in it. But it turned out to be a scam. No wonder no one was investing in it. Instead, I will invest in something that is popular, but if it's expensive, I'll get a bigger return even though it's popular. So, what's expensive, useless, and popular? I know, Apple Music. I'm desperate. I really need to pay off the debt for this cable that I bought for 3 easy payments of $20 at my local Sears. It's broken. So, my dad bought an Apple Music subscription with the family plan, and it works great on my phone. But I want to listen to Apple Music on my computer. Well, if you don't have a Mac, you're out of luck, because iTunes is a buggy piece of garbage, and it's almost as bad as that 7-Eleven sushi I ate for breakfast. No wonder I have a stomachache. And if you're that absurd nerd who preferred to incur the pains of being a Linux user, like me, then you can't even use iTunes. But fear not! You can still use Crapple Music without iTunes. All you need is a web browser that isn't Internet Explorer, or Netscape Navigator. So, if you head off to beta.music.apple.com, then you get the horrible Apple Music web player. 1. You get an error every time you try and go to the For You page. The browsing experience is okay, but you can't do playlist management on here at all, which means if you want to have playlists, you have to use either iTunes or Apple Music on your Mac or Apple Music on your phone in order to set up playlists to use on the website. I also noticed that playing songs and just browsing around in general is super clunky. For example, if I click on an album, it took 2 clicks for it to actually respond. If I try playing a song, that was lucky, it responded first click, but usually I have to take 2 or 3 clicks in order for the song to actually play. Damn it, Apple! If I wanted a buggy music player, I would have used iTunes. The only thing I like about this is that there's a dark theme by default, but there isn't a light theme. So, since the official Apple Music player sucks on the web, well, you're screwed, unless you want to settle for some unofficial Apple Music players.
No, 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 hell no, 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 I refuse, no.
Now, even though these are unofficial, you do not have to worry about any of these stealing your account or banning you for anything, because these are all using public Apple Music APIs. Let's start with Musi.ish. This is an unofficial Apple Music player that works. It is very simple designed, and it actually does seem like something Apple would design. You can actually manage playlists on here. There's actual playlist management on here, although I don't have any playlists. Unfortunately though, I haven't found a way to create a new playlist from this music player. So your playlists have to already exist in order for you to add them. And yeah, at first glance it looks like it's designed by Apple. It's pretty good. It even has a For You tab that works. But I will say the more I use it, the less it feels like an Apple product. If I play a song, let's say this song, I don't know why, it has your media player on the bottom left instead of the top like in the Apple Music player. Now from here you can access your volume, you can love the song, set it to repeat, shuffle it, but then we have lyrics, and for some reason instead of having like a full screen lyrics viewer, this opens its own window that you can't move around. And this window just opens genius.com. There's also an up next player right here. Now for some reason I can move this window around, but not this window. Anyways, this is just your queue. Now, I don't really like the Windows approach to things. That's kind of where the consistency of this music player fades away. It does have Last.fm support though, and you can choose between 256 kilobit per second playback or just 64. Overall, pretty good. I'd check it out, but not my favorite, because the next one is even better. Next we have Neve Music App. Now this is a more material design Apple Music player. We got our home here with all the featured releases, we have charts with all the top songs and stuff. We have a For You. Now this is blank, it doesn't give you any errors like the official one, but it is blank. We have our history with all of our recently played albums. We have albums. Now instead of a grid view, this is more of a list view, and I do prefer a grid view, but that's okay. We also have songs. Now this is where a list view works instead of an album view. Then we have artists right here. Now, a couple things I'd like to talk about. This has better playlist management than the previous music player. For example, I can easily create a new playlist. So this is the music player to use for playlist management. If I were to play a song, there's a much more traditional media control thing at the bottom. And again, there's lyrics, and this opens up in like a pop-up, which again is very like how Material Design does it. And if you don't want this, you can make this go away and make it go to the bottom right. Another thing is if we head over to settings, it's pretty customizable. It has iTunes Dark, which is what I'm using, but also Default Dark, which is more darker. It has a black theme instead of more of a dark theme. There's also a light theme. You can change your buttons to be all round instead of more square. And you can choose between 64 kilobits per second playback or 256. Also, if you hit New Theme, you can actually customize your theme more. So if you want to, say, make it integrate with a Linux desktop, make it look more in place, you can use this theme creator to choose all of the colors and stuff you want. Overall, this is my personal favorite of the bunch, and I would highly recommend this one. Next up, we have themusic.io. Now, this is a pretty good looking music player. You got your For You, which, like Musish, actually works. Top releases, we have genres, daily top 100 right here, and radio's coming soon, which kind of looks familiar actually, now that I think about it. This is Musish's radio tab. We also have our library, so we have recently added, artists, albums, songs, and playlists. Now, unlike Musish, even though you can play your playlists on here, you actually can't manage them, unfortunately, so yeah. Just like the original Apple Music website. I just realized I have Dark Reader on, so this is what it looks like without Dark Reader. One complaint is this text is so thin, it's a little bit hard to read, so I'd make this text thicker. And this does seem like something Apple would design. It's really good looking. What happens if I play a song? As you can see, now there's a media player down here. However, if we open up lyrics, this looks familiar. Same with this. This looks directly ripped out of Musish. Now, Musish is open source, however, I couldn't find any source code for themusic.io. So I feel like three elements, the radio and lyrics and cue, these three elements seem to be directly ripped from Musish. And I couldn't find any text or anything saying that this is made by Musish. I went through this privacy policy and basically through the whole website, and Musish isn't mentioned once, so they aren't giving credit to Musish. It's very good design, it's just I'm not seeing credit for codes taken from an open source project here, so that kind of, I don't really like that, but this seems to be a almost better designed Musish. I like the positioning of things better than I do than Musish, but I don't like how thin this text is on the sides, so that kind of sucks. Next up, we have music.zachary.shigan.ca. Now, this looks pretty good, however, its interface is really weird. Now, the first thing is this is a weird interface, so we got our media controls, but then our tabs are kind of small. Don't really like how small this is, I prefer a sidebar. For You is broken as with most of these. Recents we have right here, we have our recently plays and recently added. Search just gives you a search between Apple Music and Library. Now, these buttons do look weird because of how big they are. And then if we go to Library, we could either search the library, or we have our songs right here. We have our albums, artists, which has an error, and playlist. Now, I don't really like this one because it has a weird interface, and there were quite a few bugs with me using it, so yeah. But I will say, you have to be bold to put your own name on your music player. But yeah, this feels like, it's like a website, like a Weebly website or something, and a music player crammed into one. That's the issue. Next up, we have Fifa Tunes. Now, I just said that the other one looked like a weird cram between a website and a music player. This one looks even more like a Weebly website. We go to home, it's got all your new music and stuff. Browse, it's got your top songs, creators, and coming soon. For You just shows you your recently played. Library has all of your music and stuff. Now, I really like how it's sorted in library with subcategories with recently added albums, playlists, and songs. There's also tags, but you have to sign in with Google and stuff, so I'm not going to mess with those. This seems to be full-featured, but its interface is really weird because it's like a website, and it's slightly buggy, so Alright, which one should you use? Well, I'd stay away from Fifa Tunes and Zachary Shikian just because of their UIs and because those seem to be the two buggiest of the 5 I looked at. The music is okay, but I don't like how small the text is, but if that doesn't bother you, go ahead and use this. And I also don't like how I couldn't find any credit given to Musish, even though its lyrics and Q tabs are the same thing. Now, Neve and Musish are almost tied, but I prefer Neve better. Musish, it's really good. It doesn't have as much refinement though as Neve, and with Neve's theme changer, you can customize this big time, way more than you can customize everything else. So that is why I'm going to say go with Neve. That's the best one right here. Musish is close behind, but Neve is definitely the best. So, iTunes haters, Chromebook users, and Linux users alike can now enjoy Apple Music using these websites, which is pretty crisp. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, check out my Patreon and merch. Speaking of Patreon, thanks to Michelle Vantino and Sam Covett for being patrons at the highest tier. Also check out my channel on LBRY, which is this new YouTube alternative. Go check that out in the description below. Anyways, bye guys.